Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the third video in our series, so if you haven't watched the previous videos, I highly recommend doing so before continuing with this one, because on previous video we have installed Laravel AdminLTE package on Laravel 9. In this video we are going to be using the Spatie user roles and permission package, as well as we are going to use Yajra DataTable Laravel package. If you are not familiar with this package, don't worry, we will be explaining everything as we go along. For those of you who are already familiar with this package, you can simply clone our project and start from this video. I will provide the GitHub link of the project on the description box below. We'll be using this package to create a powerful user management system that will allow you to control the roles and permission of your users. So sit back and relax, let's get it started. The first thing we are going to do is to create a new branch from our main branch. Let's call this new branch as a feature/user roles and permissions. Next, we are going to install the material icon theme extension to beautify the look of our folder icons. This will make our project folder look more professional and visually appealing. Once we have done that, we can start our project by running the php artisan serve run command in our terminal. We'll then be able to log in with our credentials and begin building our user management system. Here we go, we are redirected to the dashboard. But very first thing I don't like here is our home is redirecting to the dashboard. So let's change that behavior. To do so, we are going to create a new file called dashboard.blade.php, and then I'm going to rename the home file as a template so that I can reuse that template later on. Let's copy our file, all the coding structure or the template structure from the template file, and then paste to the dashboard. We'll then create a new controller called dashboard controller that will handle the dashboard route. By using the R flag when generating this controller, Laravel will automatically create the standard controller functions like index, create, edit, destroy, etc. In the index function of our dashboard controller, we'll return the view dashboard. Next, we'll create a new route for the dashboard in the wave file, which is inside the routes folder. Let's add the dashboard controller. Let's change the home route to dashboard. Let's replace the name and replace the controller with the dashboard controller. There is another file we need to update that is named route service provider, which is inside the provider, and we need to change the home to dashboard route. Let's close this file and let's clear the route as well, and let's check. Let's log in again. There we go. My dashboard is not active. To do so, we need to update on AdminLTE file. Let's go to the menu section and let's change the home to dashboard. I will also make this one as a route so that we can use the name. If this is not active, then we change the config file, so we need to clear the config. Let's refresh the page. There you go, dashboard is activated. Now we are going to implement the permission function. To achieve user roles and permission functionality, we are going to need a package called Spatie Laravel permission. Let's go to the installation sections. Let's copy the composer require command and paste on our terminal. Let's check the composer file if it is updated. Yeah, there you go, it is updated. Now the other thing we need to do is we need to publish our package. So just copy this command from the documentation and again paste to the terminal. It should generate a config file called permissions.php, which has all the details that if we want to customize our tables, let's say roles, then we can use another table or already existed table from this file. Next, what we need to do is to migrate the files, which will generate the required table. Let's copy the php migrate command and then paste on our terminal, which will generate the required table. Let's check on our XAMPP if the migrated file is generated or not as well. Yep, it is generated. Let's close these files. Let's now create another folder inside our resource folder and views folder. Let's create one folder called users, but not in the vendor, but in a root view folder. Let's create another subfolder inside it and let's give it the name as roles and another folder which is permissions. Inside permissions, we are going to create one file called index.blade.php for permissions. Now we are going to copy from the templates and pasting to the index file, and let's change the title as well. And let's change the headers. Now let's create the new controller and named it as a permissions controller. And also don't forget to give the R flag. Let's check inside the HJP folder. The permission controller is here. Now we are going to use Spatie permission, the model from the Spatie, and then we are going to redirect to the view that we just created inside user folder. So we should be giving users dot permissions dot index. Now let's add this functionality on our route, that is web file. So let's make a group as well. And let's keep the prefix as users. And we should be adding the users before the permission route as well as a users.permissions. So let's do that as well. Now here inside the group, we can use the permission controller. Let's import that one first. Now let's use this one inside our group route. We are using resource. Let's give the route as permissions. and use the controller permission controller and colon class. That's it. Let's check on our route list if it is generated with the user's name or not, user prefix or not. There you go. User is in front of the permission, like a route name as well as on the route. Now we can utilize this route name on our AdminLTE. Let's change the permission route to the route and then use the route here as users.permissions.index. That's it. Now if we check the route on a browser, then on the permission it should be redirecting us to the permission page. There you go. Now let's do the content of a permission here. Let's use the container fluid as a parent div. And inside it we are going to create the row, and we are dividing the screen with the two part, one with a 3 on one with the column 3 and another with the column 9. On the column 3 section we are going to use that section for the form, and another section for the data to list on the data tables. There we go. Now on the form we are going to create the form like a general form to accept the permission names. Let's give the method as a post and action as a users. Let's give the route name as a users.permission.store. which you can see on the list as well. Let's add the CRSF token. Now inside it we are going to add one input type field. Let's give the label as name and give class as a form label name. Let's make it asterisk or required one as well, and add the text danger so that it will look red. And let's create the input type text, which has of course form control class. Let's give the name as a name, and the placeholder should be enter permission name. Let's give the value as an old value, that if the Laravel throws the error then it will appear here. Let's check the error. If error has a name, then we are going to display a span and the text inside this span with the text danger class so that it will make it red. So that it will make a red text color. That's it. Now we have to add another thing, that is submit button. So let's add the button type submit. Class we can provide a btn or primary, and let's give the save as a text or displayed text. Let's see if that is looking good or not. Yep, we got the form, but it is not looking good. Let's wrap this form with the card. Let's create the card, and then let's create the header inside the card. And inside the header we can label up the name for the form. Let's add h5 and add new. Let's create the card body here so that we can paste the form content over there. And let's add, after card body, let's create another div called card footer so that we can use that section for the button. Let's cut it and then paste. Let's delete the blank section. Now let's see if that is giving us a good look. Yes, it is. Now let's save the permission name. To do so, we are going to use the store function over controller. Let's return all first if we are getting all the data. There you go, we are getting the token as well as the name of the permission. Let's validate the permission. This is the validate function, and then let's pass the request over there and create an array where we are providing name. We are checking name, which is required, as well as we are checking the uniqueness of the permission name. That's it from the permissions table. If that pass, then we are going to store the data. Let's check if it is passing or not. Let's pass the empty file. The name is null, but it is not passing, so let's comment out the request all function. Oops, there is an error. I think the validation error, so there is something wrong. Let's go to our controller and then check if the uniqueness is okay or not. Let's comment out for now. Okay, let's check the unique required function or not. Yeah, it is working fine. Let's store the data after that. There you go, it is passing the function after a required test. Let's clear this one as well. We are going to add this one later on. Let's create the permissions, calling the permission from the Spatie, and then create function, as well as passing the array as requested name. Let's make it lower, and let's pass it to the request name. That's it. and if it is success, then we are going to pass the success message, else, or we can just do return the let's use another package here to make a toast. That should be Laravel alert, Laravel suite alert by Rashid Ali, and then we are going to install this package. Let's copy this one. Let's run on our terminal. Oops, it is not copied. Let's go back. Let's copy on our usual way. Let's paste it. Let's check if our composer file is updated. There you go, it is updated. Let's add other required command from the file. This step is optional, so we are going to jump on the next step, which is adding the command, adding the class on the app file, which is inside the config folder. Let's add. Okay. Now let's jump on the user section and then copy the alert. Let's paste it on our successful section, and then let's create another alert for the error outside of the if, and let's pass if there is error, then we'll just get back with the input. That's it. Let's change this one to errors so that alert have a error thing. Let's copy this one instead and change the message only or the title. Let's change the success message as well. Let's check if this is working fine. I think I missed the alert use, so let's add it there and then it should be okay. Let's save it. Nope, it is saved, but it is not showing the toast or any alert. I think there is something wrong. Let me fix this one first. Let's check if in the documentation if we are missing something. We should use toast instead of alert. Let's check. Let's comment out that one first. Let's see if this is working. Let's add this too. Nope. I think we are still missing something. Let's check if the data is saved or not as well. Yes, the data are saved, but why the toast is not working? Let's return view here. Instead we can utilize this function. Let's try to do that. Okay, let's check. if that is messing with the toast. Nope, it is not saved. Let's check on the documentation configuration sections. Did we miss this one? Let's check on the configuration sections, and then let's include this one on the main file, which is inside views, inside vendor, inside master, and paste on inside the body. I think it's worked now. Let's publish this one as well, so that it will offer the customization of the toast or the alert. There you go. We can customize the time as well as the animations. Let's leave it default for now, and let's test it if this is working fine. Oh, there you go. I think we missed the include one. The conclusion of the story is we need to read the documentation properly. And let's create another toast for the error. If there is something wrong, then it will throw the error toast. Let's change the message as well. New permission added successfully. Let's change the error message, error on saving. That's it. We don't need this one. Let's clear from the app file as well. Let's refresh. It should give us a pop-up if we are adding a new file or new permission name. Let's test it. There you go, it is added. Now we are going to work on the data section, like list of the data on the data tables. So to achieve the data table functionality, we are going to use the Yajra data table. Okay, let's create another card for that section. Let's create the header. Let's add the title with the H5, all data, or let's make it list. Let's create the card body. Okay, to achieve the data table functionality, we are going to use Yajra data table, as I said before. Let's go to the Yajra data table, Yajra box, the official website, which similarly looks like the Laravel one. Let's check the installation section, and let's copy the composer file that we require, the latest one. So copy, and then let's run it on our terminal. Let's check our composer is updated with the required file. Yes, it is updated. Now we don't need this one because this is optional for the Laravel 5.5 plus. So we're just gonna publish the file, which will generate the data tables file inside the config, where we can modify some of the functions that are provided by the Yajra data table. Now let's add the table here. Before that, we are going to need another thing from the Laravel AdminLTE. So let's check the documentation. Let's go to the installation section. Let's go to the plugin, and then we just need this thing which will make a page faster to load, and it will activate the only required JS whenever the data table is required, we're just going to activate that. To do so, we are going to need this command from the AdminLTE. Let's paste, and the plugin name that we require, which is DataTable. So let's copy the DataTable name. And let's keep the plugin as a DataTable and then install it. Yes. There you go, the plugin is installed. Now we can use that function, use the data table on our blade. Let's copy this one. Let's paste on the footer section. And now we are ready to use the data table from the AdminLTE as well as the Yajra data table box. So let's create a div as a table responsive. Now we need a table. Let's give the ID as a table data. Let's use the class as a table bordered, table stripe, and data table. For this class, for the reference, we can take from the AdminLTE. Let's go to the actual file. Let's go to the live preview and the data tables. And if we inspect this data table with the buttons, of course, if we inspect the current table, then we can get the class from here. So let's copy this one. Let's paste it here. That's it. Now we can use the t-head, t-row. Let's create the tr. Let's add the header of the table, which should be ID first, then permission name, then action, so that we can use that section for the edit or delete. So let's start the scripting. We are going to use the Ajax. Let's add the function as a var table, which will assign the table data that we added and data tables. Let's inside the table function, we are going to require few key and the values, that is responsive true, processing true, and server side processing, which will also true, and auto width I would like to make it false so that it will adjust as per our width of the desktop. So Ajax, we are going to add route name users.permissions.index, and after that we are going to require the columns that map the data, which is, let's say, data ID. Then we are going to map that one to ID, and let's add another one as a name. Let's add another one which is guard. We haven't added yet, but we'll add that one later after this. Okay, let's refresh if we are getting the table. Yeah, we are getting the table, but there is a JSON error because we use the route users.permission.index. So we need to make a functions that will work on that request. So let's pass the request, and then let's check the request is Ajax. Then we are going to pass the data table function over here. Let's use the data table, and let's return the data as a permission get, and let's pass this data to the data table. And after that we just need to make it true. That's it. After that, if we refresh the page, then it should be giving us the detail. There you go. It's just that simple. Now we are also going to need the, let's make it order first, as an order on a descending. So ID should be on a 0 column, so it's DSCE, DESC. There you go. It is ordered as a descending way. The wave is the default one, so let's add another column as a guard name. And then we are going to need one more data mapping thing called action, and name as action. That's it. Now, but we don't have an action here, so that we need to customize our one table or add column. Let's pass the name, which is action. And let's add something over here on the function. Let's open and close the function as well, and let's pass a row. That is the important thing. And let's return the action. Simple. There we go. We got the customize text. Now we are going to change that one to edit and delete function, but doing here it will make a mess. So we are trying to, let's make a new function called get permission, and then we're gonna call this function over there. So let's copy this function name, let's return it over here. That's it. Now let's copy this, all the content, and then paste it over there so that it will be a bit clean. And we are good to go to add the other functionality for the actions. Let's format it. Okay, let's check. Now over here, let's define a variable action as a null or empty string, and then on the other action, let's create the edit. So action dot equal to, which will concat the above action, and let's return here action. So we are going to add the div here as a button. We are going to add the button here. Let's pass the class as a button sm or access. Let's do access, and button primary. Now let's change it to the warning, and the button label, let's pass the ID as well, button edit, and let's pass the label. Let's refresh the page. If we achieve that thing, yes, we did. Now I'm going to replace this one with a font awesome icon, that is I class should be FAS FA-edit. Okay, let's refresh, let's save and refresh. There you go, it looks good, it looks clean. Now we are going to copy this thing and then make the function for the delete one. Let's change the ID, should be del, and let's change the button to outline dash danger, and let's change the icon as well, which is trash. Let's refresh the page. There you go, we got the edit and button delete button, but it is too close. Let's make it a bit space on the front so that it will be a bit spaceful and not connected with each other. Now let's do the destroy function because that is the easy one. Let's pass the data ID as a row, which we define here, and then ID. We can access the row ID, and over here we are going to get that ID. And let's do body on click, and then function open close, body on click, and then ID, and then function open and close. Let's alert the ID here if we are getting that ID on click. This data.id. Okay, let's refresh the page and let's click the delete button if that is working. Yes, it is. Now we are going to implement the Ajax call over here as well. Yes, it is passing all the IDs. So we just need to pass the Ajax call here to destroy that, to delete the data. So let's ask for the confirmation as well, and then execute the delete function. Let's pass the collected ID to the ID, and then let's check on a if condition with a confirm. Delete this ID. Let's add that ID over here for the user, and then question mark, and let's wrap it with the if condition instead of bool. If this is true, then we are going to do something or execute the function, else we are going to do nothing. Let's try. Yeah, it is giving the message as well as the ID. There we go. There is a bit of space, so let's clear that space and then call the Ajax. Let's pass the URL. Which should be route users.permissions.destroy, as well as pass the ID by doing plus. Let's pass the type as a delete. And let's create the success function. Let's define race as a response, and then error function same with the race. That's it. Let's console log over here if the success. And let's return the ID over here on our controller. Let's check on inspect network tab, passing the ID, but it is doing nothing. Let's try again. Let's check on the console tab. We are doing something wrong over here. Let's check the page source if that is defined on our footer. Yes, but we can't see our Ajax function or Ajax call over here. I think we didn't save that file. Let's check. Let's refresh. There is something wrong with the route, so let's change that one as well. After a bit research, I found that we can't pass this ID as like this one, so we are going to create a new variable where we are passing the ID, and then we are replacing that ID on a route as a url.replace route.replace as ID with the ID that we collected from above, and we are just passing that route over there. Let's refresh. Yeah, we got it. It is passed, and there is an Ajax function as well. Now let's test if it is working on a delete and passing the ID, returning the ID. Oof, there is something wrong as well. Let's check on our console tab. Let's check. I think we missed something over delete, so let's change that one. I think we need comma over here. Let's refresh. I think it is gone. Let's pass the ID. Let's check on a controller over here, or network tab. Are we getting something? Okay, I think we missed the token as well. To get the token over here, what we need to do is Ajax setup, and then on the header we are passing xcsrf token, which we can get from meta name csrf dash token dot attr attribute, and then content. Don't forget to remove the colon or semicolon over last because it will get the error. And then to get that token, we need to check on our master file, which is inside vendor AdminLTE master file. And if you don't have this one, then just add that line. Now let's click on the delete and let's see if that is giving. Yes, we are returning the ID from the permission controller. And let's change our destroy function with a request and then passing the permission over here, $permission, and let's return the permission just to test. Let's see if we are getting. Yes, we are getting all the permissions. So now we can perform the delete function over here. Let's check if the request is as X, and inside if and if permission is deleted, then we gonna send the 200 as a response. Let's set the message as deleted successfully. Let's pass the status as well, which should be outside of the array. Don't forget the semicolon, as well as let's pass the error message. And let's change the status as well, status code. Let's make it 201. That's it. Let's close these files. And on our index section, whenever we delete, it is successful, but it is not refreshing the table. So we need to refresh the table as well. To do so, we just need the table over here. That is the table ID, that data table, and then Ajax, and then reload. That will do our job. Let's handle the error as well. On the top, we are going to add a new div. With ID as a error. Now let's assign that error in here as a error box dot html, and then inside it we are going to create another div and giving a class as a text danger, alert danger, sorry. And then we are going to pass the resource response.message. That's it. Let's check if it is refreshing our table. Let's delete this one. There you go, it is refreshing our table as well. Let's add another file. Oops, there is something wrong that I did. Let's check on our permission controller over our index. And let me try again. Let's open up the permission controller, which is here. I think we just need to pass the view. users.permissions.index, and it should be working. Let's add another file. There you go, we have a toast as well as the table is updated. Let's uncomment this one, why it is not working. Let's add the test 6, and there is error. Okay, I think we did something wrong over here. To define the uniqueness, we just need the single slash, which is just above enter, should be with the shift. That's it. And it is working fine. There you go. Let's delete this one as well. Now we are going to implement the edit functionality of permission. To achieve that functionality, we are going to use the edit and update section. Let's clear up this one first. To add the edit functionality, we need to pass the ID whenever edit button is clicked. So let's pass here as, let's change this button to a href and then anchor tag as a href, and then pass the route over here. Let's make it a small quote, single quote, sorry, and inside that we are going to pass the route. Let's pass users.permissions.edit, and the ID that we are going to get from the row. That's it. I think we didn't need this thing. Yep, it should be working now. Let's see if it is redirecting to the other page. Okay, we got it. Now on our edit section, we are going to get the ID. Let's check once if that is there. Yes. Let's modify edit function as required, as per our requirement. Then let's copy the permission. Let's paste it over here and then pass the permission over here, which will return the permission, all the permission with equivalent to the ID. Let's check it. Yes, it is. Now we need to make a view which is users.permissions dot edit. So that view we need to create again, and we need to pass the permission over there. So let's pass with let's pass with function that is provided by the Laravel, and let's pass a permission. And the variable that is containing the data inside the resource, views, and then users, and then permission. We are going to copy this file and then rename it as a edit.blade.php, and we are going to change the title of the page, which is edit permission, and then let's this one to give edit permission as well, and we are changing this the form title, which is update, and we don't need the tables, so we are going to delete this section, and of course we don't need the any function over there, data tables delete. So let's clear up this one a bit as well, and let's refresh. There you go, we are redirected to the edit page. Now let's change the value on the form. Here we are passing permission and getting the name. Let's refresh. There you go, we get the name. Now here we are going to change the button label as update, and we are passing the update function with the ID from permission dash or arrow ID, and let's check if this is working, and let's return the data over here, which is request all, and let's see if this is working fine. Okay, it is adding new permission. Let's edit again. Yep, there should be expected error, which we didn't pass the patch function over here on our update file or the form. So we need to add the patch with the method. Now let's try again. Let's change the name, and there you go, it is passed successfully. Let's change again. Let's check. Yes, it is passed. Now we need to make an update function working. Before that, we are going to need the validation. Let's pass the request and then create the array with the name. Let's pass the rules, which is required. Should be unique from permission table, and then we just need to pass the column name over here as a name, and then we need to pass the permission ID. So accept this ID, it will compare with every other data. Let's pass the permission over here, same as we did for the edit, and let's pass the permission over permission ID. That's it for this function. Now we just need to maintain the toast. After the validation pass, we are going to update the permission with the permission and then update, passing the request data. Only name. That's it. And after that, we just need to copy this toast and paste it over here. Change the message, of course. Let's copy paste this one here, and if it is success, it will go inside the toast as a success, and then if not, it will go outside of that if condition. Permission updated successfully, and error on updating permission. That should be alright. Let's check it. Let's update it to the 10, and let's see if the toast is coming. Yes, it is coming, and it is updated as well. Let's update to 11. That's it. Yes, we achieved the functionality of edit as well as the delete and adding the new permission. The already taken, yeah, it is working fine as well. Let's see if the delete function is working. Yes, and the page is refreshing as well. Let's delete all. Now we are going to generate the route automatically with the command. Let's open up the terminal and then make a command. Let's give a name, create permission command, and it should generate our file inside a console commands, and here we are going to use a command to generate the route name automatically. So let's change the signature over here, permission generate. Let's do that, and let's change the description as well. Let's create the description as well, which is permission generate and save to the DB. On a handle function, we are getting the route's name and then saving to the database as a permission. So we'll create the new variable called routes and passing the value as route semicolon get route, and then another function same as a get route. We need to implement this one, or we need to import. So let's import on the top as a route from the facade, and also we are going to need permission. So let's import the permission from the Spatie, and here let's loop on the route. And inside it, we are going to check if the current route is not null. And if the middleware is web, then we are going to check if the permission is already there or not. So let's create the permission, and inside let's pass the permission variable. The data that require permission is where name, and then get route name, pass the first, and let's try to check if the permission is null or not. If the permission is null, then we are going to store the permission. If it is already created, then we are going to do nothing. So let's pass the permission and then create and a name in an array. Pass route, get name. There we go, that's it. Now let's give the information after the loop as info, and permission route added successfully. Let's run this command, but it is showing error. So it will get all the route from the application and then check if the route is already in a permission table or not, and then if the permission is null, then it will gonna save the route name. Let's run this one, PHP artisan permissions ended. Oops, we got the error. Call to the member function that is on a string, so I think we have something wrong over here. And let's delete that one. Yep, the error is also gone. And let's try again. And there is something wrong with the file again. Let's check. A valid object or a string on this line. So let's check there. There is something wrong with the permission. We just need to pass the object. So let's try again. Yep, it is successfully added, and let's check on our database or on the table. Let's refresh the page. Inside the permission, there you go, all the permissions are, or the route name are generated over here. Okay, that's a wrap for this video. So on this video we learned about to implement the permission, as well as we use the DataTable, Yajra DataTable, and the toast, the suite alert. We can now add a new permission dynamically or created from the command. And then on the next video we are going to implement the roles.